By 2026, the easy way for Americans into Europe is gone. It ended quietly, one country at a time. One shut the door you could buy your way through. Another put its price out of reach. A third had its passport scheme struck down in court. €500,000 used to be the key, not anymore. That is the story in every headline, and most of it is true. But the doors that slammed shut are not the ones you think. Let us rewind and walk them one by one. Begin with the part nobody is exaggerating. Americans are choosing to live abroad in growing numbers. The pull is real. The hurry is where it gets murky. The message is always the same. Move now before it is too late, and the loudest voices saying it usually have a stake in your answer. So as we go, keep a few things straight. Which doors are closed for good? Which ones are simply more expensive now? And the single door that is quietly getting easier. Start with the first door, the one you could buy your way through. For years, one country sold residency through property. You put around €500,000 into an apartment. In return, you and your family got the right to live there. No job needed, no long wait. The money was the key. Then, on the 3rd of April 2025, it was switched off. The reason was not Americans, it was local renters. They were being priced out of their own cities. When a visa pushes up rents, governments eventually pull it. So that door closed. No new applications. That was Spain, the biggest name to fall. You can still move there, of course. People do it constantly. One visa is for people who can support themselves without working. Another is for remote workers paid from abroad. But the shortcut that money used to buy is gone. Now, Portugal, and this is the one that matters most. More Americans are moving to Portugal than almost anywhere in Europe. The number living there has roughly tripled in 2 years. An entire industry grew up around moving Americans to Portugal. Lawyers, agencies, relocation tours, each with something to sell. Mild weather, lower costs, widely spoken English, low crime. Portugal also had the most famous golden visa of all. Back in October 2023, it killed the property version. You can no longer buy an apartment and get residency for it. A fund route survives, starting around €250,000. But the simple buy a home version is finished. There are still ordinary doors here, and they are busy. A path for retirees and people living on a pension or savings. Another for younger people working online for foreign firms. Then came a second blow, and this one is still moving. Portugal floated, stretching its wait for citizenship to 10 years. That law passed, was struck down, and went back to Parliament. As of 2026, nobody can tell you the exact finish line. Those who moved chasing the passport feel that uncertainty most. Years of waiting could quietly become many more. The next door never closed. The price simply climbed out of reach. One country still hands you residency for buying property, but the cheap tier is vanishing. It used to start around €250,000. In the most popular areas, the bar now reaches 800,000. The cheapest option, the one that built the hype, is fading. That door is in Greece, Athens, the islands, the places everyone actually wants. The door is open. The wealthy just need a bigger key. And the country everyone calls the easiest is tightening too. That country is the Netherlands. There is a treaty from 1956 written just for Americans. It is called the Dutch-American Friendship Treaty. You start a small business and put €4,500 into its account. No language test, no point system, no large investment. You can freelance and you can keep billing your American clients. For an American, it is one of the cheapest doors in Europe. Thousands have used this treaty to start a life abroad. And right now, it is unusually fast. Since 2024, the paperwork has run on a quick, light process. You can live and work there while the decision is still pending. But that fast lane was always temporary. Sometime in 2026, it reverts to the old, slower way. More documents up front, longer waits for the answer. The door stays open, it just gets heavier to push. If this was your plan, the simple route now has a deadline. And this is the part most people miss completely. Europe is tightening the border itself, not for movers, for ordinary visitors. Since April 2026, a new entry system is fully live. Your fingerprints and a photo taken at the border every trip. No stamp in the passport anymore. A digital record instead. That part is free, but it is not optional. Then, late in 2026, comes a travel permit. It works like the form Europeans already fill in to visit America. Americans will apply online in advance for about €20. It lasts 3 years and covers short visits. You still get 90 days without a full visa. But from 2027, airlines can refuse to board you without it. Britain runs its own version, live since early 2026. Visit London and Lisbon, and you now need two separate approvals. The days of simply showing up are ending too. Now step back and look at the whole map. Ireland closed its investor visa back in early 2023. The Netherlands scrapped its own about a year later. And in April 2025, Europe's top court went furthest of all. It ruled that one country could no longer sell passports at all. The judges called it turning citizenship into a product. Malta, the last country in Europe still doing it. When the courts step in, these schemes do not come back. So it sounds like every door is being bolted shut. The reason behind all of it is the same: housing pressure, security worries, and a fear of dirty money. Here's the catch. Almost none of those closed doors were American doors. Ireland's scheme was built for Chinese money, not Americans. The Dutch one had fewer than 10 takers in 11 years. Malta's passport was for the global rich, not a family from Ohio. What is closing is the option to buy your way in. The routes ordinary Americans actually use are still open. They are just slower or pricier than they used to be. And one of them is moving the other way entirely. If you have an Irish-born grandparent, you can claim a passport. It costs a few €100, not a few 100,000. That process used to take up to 2 years. It now takes about 9 months. While the buy-in doors closed, the family door got faster. The urgency is real for buyers. It is also good for business. Fear of missing out moves people. It also moves product. So next time you see "move now before it is too late," check who is saying it and what they are quietly selling. Now, the honest verdict. If your plan was to buy a passport or buy residency, the clock is real and it is running out. Most Americans were never going to take that route anyway. Those doors are closing across the continent on purpose. If your plan is to work, to retire, or to claim ancestry, those doors never closed. They simply ask more of you now. The panic is loudest for the people who needed the shortcut. For everyone else, it is paperwork, not a closing gate. Slower and costlier is not the same as impossible. The window is not slamming, it is narrowing. The only mistake is not knowing which side of it you are on. If the tax side is what pulled you here, the country that charges people to leave is the one to watch next. One shift changes everything.